stay.
Hi, welcome to Show About Yoga, S.A.Y, S.A.Y. And S.A.Y this is the very first one, and this is a podcast about the magical world of yoga and all of the beautiful benefits of yoga, how yoga can transform lives, how yoga can, affect your health, your flexibility, your fascia, and also how it can help with your mental health, how it can help with staying present, calm the nervous system, connect to self, how it can help you connect to community. We will be talking to lots of different other teachers. We'll be talking to practitioners, wellness experts. We'll be talking to sound healers. We'll be talking to all sorts of different people and getting their perspective on what they think of yoga. So S.A.Y, the show about yoga, this is the very first one. I am the host, Justine Davis. This is also the brainchild of Rob, who is actually under the Yoga Witness Protection Program, and I can only actually say his very first name. So, shh. He is the producer. There's also Lenny, who is the yoga dog. That's probably who you can hear snoring in the background. He loves yoga too, so he'll be saying a few things. The yoga background, I am not actually sitting on a Tahitian beach. No, I'm not. Believe it or not, this is a backdrop and it's not even ironed properly, so a few words to Rob. But, this can be changing. We'll be changing. We'll be going with the flow. We'll be exploring the magical world of yoga, and I'm so super pumped about it, and I hope you can follow along with us. So roll out your mat, take a deep breath, and welcome to S.A.Y, Show About Yoga.
Master Ken here with a special message for Justine. According to Robert, you need tips on self-defense for yogis who use a black yoga mat. That's oddly specific. So I have a green yoga mat, just pretend that it's black. Now when it comes to self-defense for yogis, there is a banned ancient yoga that was removed from the Olympics. And it was basically an emeritote version of yoga. It was too violent for the yogis. So in order to make it palatable for the masses, they had to change it. But there was a combat version of yoga. It was called Yo Groin, as in, we gonna destroy your groin. And the way you do it is by using a rolled up yoga mat for strikes, striking in the face, solar plexus, striking to the groin. You can even reinforce it here, put it against the hip, and just striking to the groin. You can choke with it. Thing I like to do is use it to block the vision. Someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, namaste, I'm going to take your car keys from you," and you go, "Here," okay? They can't see, boom, punch them, okay? Suffocate them with it, they fall down, then as always, restart that groin. So, namaste to you. That was a show about yoga, an S.A.Y, if you will. Breathe in, breathe out, and as always, remember to restomp that groin.
Hi, and welcome to the first part of the show about yoga. And this is just going to be a little intro on how yoga transformed my life and the reason behind a lot of the stuff that I do now. So I'd been doing yoga for about 20 years, and it was great. And I got to hang out with some cool people. And it's actually where I met Donna, who I'm doing my yoga retreats in Samoa with now. It didn't really stick though. I did it sporadically. It wasn't like a practice for me. And then in 2013, there was a tragic death. My stepson was killed, and it changed everything. I was with my partner at the time. It was his son and our two kids. We'd just moved to Melbourne, and it was intense in our house. My partner at the time was struggling with grief very badly, and the house was very sad. And I started going to a yoga class every day, and it was just that hour away from the house, away from my life, and it saved me. I felt a reprise, like for that hour once a day, and so then I just kept doing that, and fast forward 5 years, still living with my partner. And it had just progressively gotten worse at home. He'd become very abusive, and it was, like I said, it was intense, it was dark in our house. And so I moved out. I took the kids with me, 2 little kids, and, we just took the leap of faith. I had to leave the situation that I was in. I didn't really have a job. I hadn't worked in a really long time. But I feel like yoga gave me the strength to do that. And I moved into this house, and I started going to a new yoga studio, and I found a beautiful community that I felt supported by, and I felt like I had the strength to just keep going. And I was going every day again to this yoga studio, and I was finding that I was making better choices for my life and letting go of some of the things that I'd been told throughout my life that perhaps were holding me back. And I was letting go of the stories that were going on in my head, so that I was finding, moments of clarity, moments of calm. And I was just becoming happier and happier. I did my yoga teacher training, and that blew my mind. It was like a light bulb moment. Just coming into awareness and that is just, that's hard to explain. It's really simple, but it's hard to explain. And we're going to talk about that in the podcast. Yoga transformed my life, and I hope to share all of the magical benefits of yoga, and speak to other people about how it transformed their lives, or how it's affected their lives, or just how it's woven into their lives. And I hope you can hang out with us, and namaste.
Aha. Literally, that's
Talofa. This year we had the very first Samoa Eco Yoga Retreat, and it was amazing. Everyone loved it so much. We stayed in a marine protected area. The resort that we stay at is amazing, and it's over a reef, which is all protected, and it's right next to Lolomanu Beach, which Lonely planet coined as a paradise on Earth. It will blow your mind on how clean and clear the water is. It's like this weird turquoise colour. It's amazing. And we are embracing, supporting an environment, ecotourism. So on the retreat, we plant coral and help try and restore the reefs that have been bleached through climate change. We also offset your flights by planting trees at a national park nearby, the Samoan Conservation Society. They'll plant the trees for us, and we'll offset your flight to Samoa. We also have a water filtration system there where we, just to cut back on all of the plastic bottles that are a real issue in Samoa. We also donate to a local primary school, and that's something that you can jump on or jump off. It's up to you. But it's a beautiful little school, and I sort of gave it away. Yes, we are doing another one next year, August 2025. It's almost sold out. There's only 4 rooms left. We will be doing it again with the legend that is Donna Buchanan. We will be interviewing her very shortly. Stay tuned for that. And we will also, the retreat is amazing. We go to lots of like secret beaches and waterfalls. We go to a village pool, which is a great honour to get access to the village's pool. Lots and lots of cool stuff. We have a fear night. We have an arbor ceremony. Eat a lot of beautiful traditional vegetarian Samoan food. We have our own chef. This year, 2025, we're going to be having like all of these cool spa treatments with traditional like botanicals and also some cacao, because Samoa has the best cacao in the world. That is correct. So we will be doing a cacao ceremony with that. Anyway, there's lots and lots of other things, and we hope that you can join us and have this sort of life-changing, amazing experience with us in 2025. Faletolu. And also, there was Sneaky Rob, who's under the Yoga Witness Protection Program, which I told you about before, mentioning that, yes, there is a link. There will be a link somewhere in Magic Interweb world where you can click on and find out more information, or even, make a booking to come on our retreat. And Faletolu. Thank you so much for joining us at S.A.Y, S-A.Y, Show About Yoga. And the reason why I've tempted you in is because I think you're a freaking legend, Donna Buchanan. I remember starting yoga with you a long time ago, and you picked it up and went so like full on into this amazing journey. And I just watched you go into it, and I've always been in awe of you. You're such an amazingly kind person. You've said all these amazing words of wisdom to me over the years. So I just really wanted to interview my mate Donna, the yoga legend. And I want to ask you, what's yoga to you?
Oh, that's such a great introduction, Justine. I feel I am in awe of you equally with everything that you do in your life. And weren't we lucky to have had such a great start with our teacher, Beck Gilby, who I always like to reference because I learned so much from her. So she started that for me. And I think that she created a beautiful safe space for all of us to inquire and figure out what yoga meant to us all way back then. And maybe if I'm really, really honest about it, I don't know if I knew back then what it really meant to me, but I do know that she really sparked something in me, like a little fire in me that I just couldn't turn away from. And it just, that was the start of 20 years plus really now of yoga and the journey. And so I guess what it means to me now when I look back on it all is that I think Ashtanga, which we both practiced with Beck, was a way in which we could become really disciplined in not just the practice of yoga, but disciplined in self-discovery and figuring out who we wanted to be, who we were, the journey for us spiritually, because I felt like at the time, perhaps I was getting a sense of my spirit being a little bit broken. I not broken, but just in need of some healing and some repair because it was like, I was coming out of having my third child and I felt, yeah, I think having my third child and um being almost like a single mum again in a way, like single with three kids, but two were at school, husband was working a lot. I felt very much on my own. And so when I came to yoga, it felt like I'd found my home a little bit. It was so beautiful. And Ashtanga was just something that almost kept me accountable so that I just kept putting my best foot forward no matter what. It's like the practice was really asking me to inquire, like, are you pushing yourself? Are you being the best version of yourself in all of the poses that we were learning? So I feel like it was a journey of self-discovery and my emotional resilience at the time. But then when I went into vinyasa, that really kind of softened all of that structure and that discipline, just so that I could just maybe be a bit more fluid in my thinking and maybe could just, push the boundaries of those perimeters that I'd put in for myself when I was just so into Ashtanga. I could just kind of push those out a little bit. And I guess in that sense, I started to realize the mindfulness aspect of yoga. So what it means to me is that I guess I had just started yoga as a way out of escaping something in a way. But what I found was I was coming home, I guess, to where I was meant to be on this spiritual journey, which at the time I didn't know that I was on, but I think looking back now, I can say that I was on some sort of spiritual journey and I was looking for that community and that home within myself, as well as within, with you girls, practicing with all the yoga girls with Beck. So it was this kind of continual evolving over 20 years that has maybe just given me the answer to the question that you ask now, which I've never really thought about. What does it mean to me? It's just, it means this really kind of ongoing journey, this approach to life, of daily habits, of relationships, of management of myself as I work in a, corporate space, stress, I need to manage that. So it's been a wonderful tool that has allowed me to just get to this point in my life, and it will evolve and it'll just keep changing, but it's this wonderful portable tool I can take with me and that I keep coming back to.
I thank you. That was amazing. I love what you say, and it sticks with me all the time. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit to it about how yoga is a life hack. I think that's the coolest thing. I claim it as my own sometimes. No, I don't. I always go, my mate Donna always says, yoga's like a life hack. And it totally is.
It totally is.
Yeah. Trying to share it with the kids.
Yeah, it's a life hack for me because I have been able to translate my learnings on the mat, which you would have too. And I think we all get to a point where the ego falls away enough that you can actually just see the truth and the reality of what it is that we practice for. And it's so that we can take what we learn on the mat and we go outside into the, big, bad, horrible, sometimes horrible world outside. And we can use those tools to help us manage and mitigate and navigate through all of these hurdles. And life, I mean, I love the quote, I don't know who said this, but I claim it as my own as well. Nobody rides for free. And so we don't get through life without some twists and turns and tumbles. And I feel like yoga has allowed me to harness, the anxiety or the stress or the pain or the whatever it might be, grief, whatever, and use those tools to hack the situation with those tools so that I can just manage it. It doesn't mean that I avoid or I bypass the grief or the strain or anything like that. It just means with mindfulness, I can say, okay, I can really critically think about it. So for instance, if I, something silly like, I'm in a situation of road rage, this happens to all of us. And, I go from, I guess, reactivity, which is what we all do, to just being, I don't know what the opposite is to that, but being less reactive, being more mindful about what I'm about to put my own body through. That person that's just cut me off is not going to give a shit about me. They've just gone, but I'm left with the feelings. And so, the yoga is about taking a deep breath and realizing that you have in your sphere of control literally nothing of that other car and that other person or whatever the hurt is. You only have what you are dealing with. And if you, I'm not saying don't let anger come into your world or don't let these emotions come into your world, but you have the ability to manage them in a much more safer way for your mental health or, so that you're not taking on or thinking about or ruminating about these things. That's a silly example. I mean, it could be something even deeper than that has more of a profound impact on your life. But I feel like yoga can help you to manage those situations so you get through them in a way that's a little healthier on your spirit and your mental clarity or emotional resilience, so that it doesn't wear you down and bear on your soul, and you carry that with you for God knows how long. We talk, about grudge holding and stuff. It happens to all of us. I mean, we all get hurt. And so it's ways of just managing those things. And I think that's where the yoga has really helped me to form a deeper connection with myself so that I can hack into situations and go see them for what they are, understand them a little bit, make friends sometimes with the anger and the pain, whatever's coming up for me, that I have that ability to breathe through those things. And it's the same way in yoga. This is how I know what I use, to think about this as a hack, when I'm in a really challenging posture in yoga and I'm being asked to go to that place by the teacher and hold it and sustain it. And I'm dying, my quads are killing me and my hamstrings or whatever. And I'm in it and I have to get through that somehow. And so the chemistry in your body goes through it. You are neurobiologically rewiring yourself to sustain through challenge. And that's the hack. So you can go outside into the world and you have to sustain and manage those things in life. And your body knows it, your mind knows it, the essence of you knows it. And so we may slip sometimes, just like we do in yoga. We may not handle situations great, but we get better at it. The more we do it, the better we get. And it's like that analogy of, I think I may have said this to you before because I just love it, the digging of the trench. If you keep digging the trench, it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you'll make progress going in the same spot. But if you move off that and you move around the yard and you start digging trenches everywhere, you got a whole lot of holes and nothing deep that you can, plant something in. So I sort of see it like that as well. Like it's a way to really deepen that connection to the management of life off the mat. So that's what I call the hack.
That I've never asked, like I've just sort of assumed what it is, but I love the way you explain stuff, lady. I can sit and listen to you all day. So another question that I really wanted to ask was, and I know a few of them, but I want you to share it with everyone, is what are some of the things that like yoga has taken you on? What are some of the journeys you've talked to us about, the spiritual sort of and mind opening, heart opening journeys that you've been on, but perhaps, like getting on a plane sort of journeys, like, and maybe studio stuff, just things that yoga has taken you to.
Yeah, I love this question. I really thought a lot about it because I was trying to almost put it into blocks of time, because I feel like in the beginning, maybe the first 5 years was just discovery, just trying to work out who I was, what I needed in my life. Like I'd said, I felt a bit spiritually wounded. So I was just trying to, maybe on that discovery in that sense, just using the practice to really strengthen that. And then I think after that, I definitely went through a period of growth. And I guess I went from Ashtanga, which I probably did for about 8 years in total. And then I switched to Vinyasa. Oh, I want to have my doggy.
I'm so
Hi,
sorry.
Lenny.
He's been crying at the door the whole time. So anyway, he sits in here because he's a yoga dog.
It's
Yoga
good.
fun
Next
class
time
dog.
we'll do it with dogs. I think
Yeah, we'll do it.
it's
We have to do it.
therapy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so I think when I transitioned to Vinyasa and I let go of I guess the discovery was still there, but I think I was trying to really formulate a really strict routine for myself with Ashtanga. And I wanted it to be like that because I felt so out of control in so many other aspects of my life that um, the Ashtanga really helped me control that. So, but I realized maybe when I started doing Vinyasa that wasn't necessarily the healthiest thing for me at the time. I think I needed a bit more freedom to move my body in yoga, but also to move in my mind in a way that I just had that little bit of more freedom. So I think after about 5 years, I really and our teacher left. I think you remember Beck left to go live in New South Wales somewhere, or maybe Queensland,
yeah.
and we were all in a bit of a quandary. And I think it was around that time that I was starting my teacher training journey. So
I
you
love
girls were all
that.
like, why don't you just teach us? And I was this
Hello.
little green teacher going, oh no,
That was the best. And we were
all
at
you
like
girls know what to do.
yeah, and all those cool places that you did it at. We did it at the church. We did it. That was a beautiful church, wasn't it? That was a church, wasn't it?
That was a beautiful church.
Yeah,
That was the Vedanta church.
that
Yeah,
was
it was
so cool.
gorgeous.
And the pool, and we loved the pool because it had the daycare
The
for the kids.
creche.
The creche. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a really cool. So I guess after sort of doing my teacher training, which maybe happened around 5 or 6 years after doing Ashtanga, and I started at a new studio because Beck left and I was at this Ashtanga studio. And so I was still doing Ashtanga. I just realized I was still doing Ashtanga. So I did it with Moksha at Yoga Om. And back then it was like an apprenticeship. I did it for 2 years, whereas nowadays you can get a training in Bali for 4 weeks. So it was just very different how it was delivered. And they were very traditional Indian couple. And so I went down this path of this quite traditional training, I suppose. And
Mhm.
so that journey lasted 2 years of that. And then I was teaching with you girls. And then at the studio itself, I did some Ashtanga classes, but I was always getting off my mat and teaching in the morning Mysore anyway. So I felt like I had it was an apprenticeship. It felt like I remember being kind of annoyed at the time, always getting pulled off my mat for things. But in hindsight, I look back now and I just think, wow, what a great opportunity. Because I learned so much from Moksha about adjusting and just things you don't get in trainings these days, I feel. So that was really good. And then I suppose after I did that and I left that studio, I started my own business, which I guess that was about 10 years in, maybe. My marriage had broken up. I really was out on my own, and I felt like I really had to dive into this journey. And I mean, I did it with a blindfold on. I did it, I fell backwards basically with a blindfold on. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just was like, I have to do it. It's just going to happen, and I'm going to make it happen. And so the naivety was good because I think if I had have known how hard it was going to be, I just wouldn't have done it. But um, so that journey lasted 8 years, almost 10 actually, in the city with the Yoga Vine. And that was just a fantastic time of emotional growth, of business acumen, which I didn't kind of have. Yeah, just really kind of getting that community engagement as well. I just didn't I had a what they say, following in Perth with our little community here, but we had a whole new demographic in the city, being in the city with the studio. So that was a huge part of my learning as well, just discovering new people and making connections with new people. So that journey was 10 years, and I guess that really set me up for the retreats and everything that we started doing, and teacher training we did as well there, because we really felt like the next step for us after owning a studio. I think we were maybe 6 years in, and this is like back in the 2012 12, I think we started this. So it was like another apprenticeship in a way. We had to put on our big girl socks and just pull them up and, just do our best. It was really hard slog. So I really found my voice in that quite a lot as well, like running something that was mine, and the buck stopped with me. I couldn't blame anybody else for anything that went wrong. So that learning and of that journey was absolutely critical, I suppose, for then going out on my own a little bit after the Vine closed and learning how to let go of something that I loved so much. And another little hack from yoga, thanks to yoga, the Shavasana lets us practice watching something die, like the practice disappears and you're just there laying there at the end. And it's a bit like that. It's the letting go is really, really hard. And when you love something so much. So I loved the Vine and the community and everything we created and the retreats and the trainings. But with COVID, we couldn't save it. So it just had to go. But I guess after that finished, it was which I probably hadn't really delved into that much, was this real philosophical journey and getting a little bit more into the philosophies of yoga. And as I've aged too, I'm in my 50s now, just my body doesn't want to do all those crazy poses anymore. And I just really feel like the call to those other parts, the other limbs of yoga, like more of the pranayama, more of the meditation, more of
I'm with you, yeah.
yeah, and it isn't, oh my God, it's so nice to slow down, especially when you've been a mum and a business owner, run through everything. You just literally on high speed, or you're asleep. Otherwise you just don't get it done. So I think when I got to the end of that, I had a long reflection. I took a year off. I went back to uni and my journey was more about what's next. And I realized, it's funny, like even with the business, most people would have said, oh, it was such a successful business, but I really felt like I still had so much to learn and I was just I wanted it to keep going for that. But I realized I could still keep learning and just do stuff on my own. So I've done a couple of retreats since, and I've done the yoga retreat with you, which was so amazing, and some on my own and some with other people now. And I just pick and choose the ones that really that I feel like really reflect the kind of relationships that I have in life, the people that I want in my life, the journeys that I want to stay on. And like with you, like with some of my other yogi buddies that I have here in Perth, like the yoga lab. And I just feel like that's where I want to be now, just doing the things that I love that really align with where I'm at in my life right now. I feel very connected with my practice that's really just scaled right back now. I still love doing some fun stuff, but I don't do anywhere near as the crazy 2-hour practices anymore. But, and in that way, I guess what's been brewing is this mentorship type of thing that I could offer as well. But I haven't really gone there yet. I'm not sure I'm ready to be that person, but
I think
I certainly don't mind people asking.
Well, because you've been mentoring me definitely all throughout this practice. Now, it does seem like we're running out of time, but I'm going to try and wedge in just a couple of little things. The first one is you did a segue to the Samoa Eco Retreat. Just in a few words, maybe give your take on the Samoa Eco Retreat, maybe your experience with it.
Oh, I don't, how much time, I couldn't sum it up. It was the most amazing retreat, I think, to date. It was all the things that a retreat needs. It had, a beautiful head facilitator in you that just thought of everything, all small things, all big things. It was tropical and beautiful and cultural and spiritual, and the food, very important. It had everything that a good retreat should have, and I just can't wait to do it again. I loved it so much, and the experiences that I had there, even as a facilitator, I felt like I was part of the group that attended as well. Maybe because you held that space so beautifully, and I could lean back a little bit and and have a break sometimes and enjoy the surroundings. So it was fantastic.
I definitely felt like that with you. So thank you so much. So the other quick thing that I wanted to say, so yes, you're coming back next year. And I'm super excited that you're going to be coming.
Me
It was so
too.
wonderful that you taught those workshops and stuff, and you have such a plethora of knowledge and experience, and for you to share it on the retreat was so wonderful. So we are just about to run out of time, but I just wanted to say, is there anything that you'd like to plug in the world of Donna that we can share through S.A.Y, apart from the Samoa Eco Yoga Retreat 2025? Is there anything that...
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot really that but I do still have this online platform. So I do still have, an online platform that was a relic from the Vine that I still keep running. I haven't filmed any classes for a while, but the plan is to make some time for that, film some more classes, get it up and running. I think for memory, it's like $16.95 a month. It's not very expensive, and there's about 100 classes on there, but soon to be more. There's a bit of everything. I've got some HIIT training with my boxing friend Charlotte. There's some vinyasa. There's some Pilates. There's a bit of everything on there. So I couldn't really think of anything to plug, but I thought, well, that's the one thing I suppose that I could plug, and that's just, yeah, it's the kind of, I always thought it was made because of COVID, but then it still has memberships, it still has subscriptions, and I think people use it for when they travel or when they can't get to a class, a lot of stay-at-home parents. So it's been really good to keep running, and I've enjoyed having it there. I do need to get back on it and film some more classes. Maybe we could film some in Samoa.
Oh, I
Stick
think
them
we
on.
would. Yeah. They're so
Tropical yoga.
Yeah, tropical yoga. They're a great, they're a really good length, and there's such a great variety there. So if you're looking for an online class, I highly recommend it. We're going to chuck all the information in the bits and bobs down below. But I just want to say, namaste, lady. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me. I feel so honored to be the first person
Yes.
on your podcast. And it's just been so beautiful to go on this journey with you as well, Justine. And we have known each other for about 20 years. And it's just for me, it's just such a joy and a privilege to be doing this with you and these retreats and speaking with you and unofficially mentoring, and you, my friend, also give me so much that I learn from as well. So I've enjoyed everything that you've built so far. It's been fantastic. You're a gun.
You are a legend. Thank you so much, my friend. I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
You will. Bye.
Bye. Namaste, lady.
Namaste.
S.A.Y.